In this video, let us discuss what are the different types of constraint. So firstly, what is a constraint? A constraint is a condition that defines the geometry of the entity or a relationship among different entities. Constraints can refer to a geometry entities or construction entities. In order to use the constraints, we must first understand that most of the constraints are automatically, or most of the sketches are automatically constrained, and they are also dimensioned at every stage of sketch creation. Basically, it helps to keep the sketches solved, but sometimes we can use the options and we can apply a constraint to the sketch. So let us try to see the first type of constraint, that is vertical constraint. So in order to explain that one, let me consider a line and let me draw an inclined line, and the dimensions are hidden. Let me just, so they are visible right now. This is an inclined line, and this is not constrained right now because I'm not getting any symbol of constraints. And let me try to convert this line into a vertical line by using the constraint option. So after drawing the line, let me just select the vertical constraint, and as soon as I select the vertical constraint, I'm getting a message over here that is select a line or 2 points. So one more thing, friends, you can observe that whenever I'm selecting any of the options, any of the options mentioned in this toolbox, the cursor turns into black color. Let me show you again. So right now I don't have any option selected, and let me just select the vertical constraint, and you can see that the color of the cursor turns to black color. So that indicates that the cursor is presently holding some of the option, which has to be implied on the sketch, and if you want to get back to the normal mode, you can just click on escape. So let me try to use the vertical constraint and click on the line. So there it is, the line got converted into a vertical line, and there is a symbol of constraint over here. You can see this symbol, and this represents the vertical constraint. So this indicates that the line is vertically constrained, and as I've mentioned to you that in Creo the sketches are automatically constrained. So it actually means that when I'm selecting a line, and imagine I want to draw a vertical line, you can see the symbol of constraint exactly beside the cursor on the right hand side. That means that the line is vertically constrained if I'm just moving straight, and when I'm inclining the line to a certain angle, the constraint symbol is disappearing. So this is an automatic feature, and if I'm just stopping the line over here and press the middle click, you can see that the line is constrained vertically. So this is an automatic feature. In some cases we have to use the constraint and apply to the sketch. So let us try to see what is the horizontal constraint. So let me consider a line again, and you can see as I'm just moving right side, I'm getting a symbol exactly right side to my cursor, and the symbol represents the horizontal constraint. And in order to just try to see what's the way of constraining a sketch using the horizontal option, let me try to draw an inclined line, press the middle click, and I'm not bothered about the dimensions at this moment because this is just an explanation part. So let me just try to convert this inclined line into a horizontal constraint line, and for that let me just click on horizontal, and as soon as I click the horizontal, I got a message over here that is select a line or 2 points. So I'm selecting a line, and the line is automatically constrained as soon as I selected it, and the symbol represents the constraint horizontal. So let me delete this and let us try to go to the other constraint. So the third one is perpendicular constraint, and this is very simple to understand. it converts two lines perpendicular with each other. And again, let me consider a line, a horizontal constrained line. And let me consider another line. And you can observe over here, as I'm hovering on the line which I have just created, a horizontal line, there are points highlighted on the line, the end points, the left end point and the right end point, and the middle point. So midpoint is actually automatically traceable for us, and this is an automatic feature in Creo. If you want to create a line from the midpoint of this segment, you can just hover on the line, and you can just stop at the position where the midpoint is, and the line is created from the midpoint. And let me try to just keep the line at this position. So this is not a perpendicular line. Let me just try to apply the perpendicular constraint. Click on perpendicular, and this time I need to select two entities. This is the first entity and this is the second entity. Now you can see that the two entities are constrained with each other. So this represents the perpendicular constraint, and you can see the symbol perpendicular 1, suffix 1, and perpendicular suffix 1. So 1 indicates this line and this line are perpendicular to each other. If I have another set of lines over here, imagine this is a horizontal line, and let me directly draw a vertical line. Right, and let me just try to apply constraint. I'm getting this message because the line is already having vertical constraint. So let me just try to delete the vertical constraint, and now the line is having a perpendicular constraint in place of vertical constraint. But the symbol or the suffix for this set of line is number 2, right? So this indicates the second set of layout or the sketch which is having perpendicular constraint applied to them, right? So let me try to go to the fourth type of constraint, which is tangent constraint. So for explaining the tangent constraint, let me try to create a circle of, say, something around 150 units, and let me pan it to the left side. Let me create another circle, and let me create another circle whose center is exactly collinear with the first circle. Okay, and this is having a random dimension of something around 200 units. Okay, and I want them to be tangent to each other. Okay, tangency in the sense they have to touch each other basically. So let me just click on tangent. So select the first entity or the circle, the second entity, and the moment I have selected second entity, you can see both the circles are now touching each other, and they are touching each other with by maintaining a tangency between them. And this is a symbol of tangent constraint. You can see that the lines or the segments or the entities are tangent to each other, and they are constrained tangentially. So this is the constraint which is commonly used for creating a tangency between two entities.